Great stories begin with great sentences, but how do you get your students to write sentences? Today I'm going to teach you some quick and easy lessons to get your beginning writers writing sentences in a very step-by-step way. But first, if you're new here, welcome to my channel. I'm Brenda Tejeda and I've taught for over 17 years, mostly in kindergarten and first grade, and I love sharing my literacy tips and ideas with teachers like you. So make sure that you like this video and subscribe to my channel if you want more teaching videos like it. Now let's be honest. Sometimes our kids are pushed way too fast to writing stories before having explicit instruction on how to write a sentence. And kids always need lots and lots of practice writing sentences. It seems like no matter how many times you say start with a capital and with a period, you still get work handed in that's missing these components and have you wondering if you're just talking to the wall. But here's the thing, if we don't teach the basics of sentence writing, the grammar, the structure of sentences, then kids aren't going to have a strong understanding of what a sentence even is. And when they're asked to write stories without having sentence instruction, then it becomes a jumble or word soup and you don't know where the sentences end and the next one begins. Let me know if you can relate to that. What's the biggest struggle in your classroom when it comes to sentence writing? Are students forgetting their capitals, forgetting their punctuation? Are they having a hard time coming up with an idea or a complete thought? Let me know in the comments below. All the activities I'll share with you in this video are included in my Kindergarten Writing Unit 2 Writing Sentences, but you can do them on your own with just a few supplies. If you want to take a look at my writing unit where I show you step-by-step how to teach your students sentence writing while writing a classroom narrative, I'm going to put the link in the description box below. Just make sure that you hit that see more or the read more button so that it shows up. Okay, let's get started with step 1. Let's start by teaching our students what the difference is between a letter, a word, and a sentence. By this time, they should have awareness of print concepts, they should have some letter sound knowledge, and they should be able to write some simple high-frequency words as well. Now, I just use some cards and you can make your own with some headings, and we talk about what a letter is, that a word is made up of letters and a sentence is made up of words with spaces in between, a capital and a punctuation mark. And then we sort the remainder of the cards and talk about the differences. Next, we're going to move on to sorting examples and non-examples of sentences. And I like to do a fun little oral activity where I ask the students a question and they have to answer me in a complete sentence. So it's great practice. A lot of the times kids, when you ask them a question, they just give you a one-word answer. So you can ask them, how old are you? And likely some student will say 6. So you say, okay, 6 is a word. Let's put it in a complete sentence. I am 6 years old. And after you model a few times, you can ask them simple questions. What's your favorite color? How many brothers and sisters you have? And have them practice answering in complete sentences. You can have them turn and talk and answer to one another first so they can coach each other and help each other along, and then turn to you and give you the answer. Now, with all my writing units, I have a fun little character. I love to use little characters to represent important concepts, and in this one we have sentence starfish. So I have a little flipper here, and when students answer in a word, just 1 or 2 words, it's not a complete sentence, I'll show them this side to try again. And then when they try again and they get it, it says you did it. Then just tell them about the parts of a sentence. We start by talking about the 2 parts of a sentence, the subject or the naming part, and the predicate or the telling part. And then we have these little sentences and sentence fragments that we sort under sentence or not a sentence. And when we're done sorting all of the cards, then I'll ask them to take a look at the not a sentence column and let's talk about which part is missing and what words can we add to make those a complete sentence. Next, we're going to move on to building sentences. And if you followed me for a while, you know how much I love to have students talk about what they're doing before they do any kind of writing. It's that oral language that we need to help them develop to become better writers later on. So first we use these cards, and we're going to talk about the 2 parts, who and did what, the naming part and the telling part. And then we take a card from each category and students practice telling each other a sentence with those 2 cards. So for example, a dog drove. They can be silly as long as they have the 2 parts and it makes a complete sentence. So they can practice telling each other sentences. A dog drove a tractor. Then after they get comfortable with 2 parts, we add a 3rd part where this is great for sentence expansion. We add the cards for this, and then they practice building sentences with those 3 parts. Later on in the unit, we talk about adding details and making our sentences even more wonderful to help our readers understand and give them lots of details. From the very beginning, we want to teach students about sentence mechanics, capitalization, punctuation, spacing. One thing you can do from the beginning of the year is model writing in front of them. When you write your morning message, when you write about something that happened in your classroom or a field trip, you can practice writing those sentences in front of them and talk about the different parts in a capital letter, how you're leaving spaces between the words, and punctuation. Have your students come up to the message and highlight the capital letters, find the punctuation and circle them. They can place a sticker between the words to note the spaces. And doing those kinds of things just makes it a little bit fun and helps them remember all of those things for when they get to write their own sentences. Now, I always have a fun little song or a poem to help kids remember important concepts. And for this unit, I have Be a Sentence Superstar, and it goes to the tune of Yankee Doodle. So pardon my singing, but it goes like this. Sentence Starfish teaches us to write a super sentence. Start it with a capital and end with punctuation. And you can teach your students how to sing this song. You can sing it often when writing and remind them, what does Sentence Starfish say? Make sure you check your work and you reread it. You check it has the capital and the spaces and the punctuation. Oh, for spacing, I have a different one. For this lesson, I put a whole bunch of writing on a chart paper with no spaces in between. And of course, they have a really hard time reading it. And we talk about how when we write, we want to think of our readers and we want to make it easy for them to understand. So this little poem says, spaces are important, there's no doubt. They help your readers figure it out. So we want to make it easy for our readers, and leaving spaces help them know what it is that we're writing. So those are the first few lessons that I like to teach students to help them learn how to write sentences, except we also do it in the context of something that happened in our classroom. So as we're writing a classroom narrative, a story about a field trip or a simple event, in fact, in my writing unit, I have a fun activity that you do together, and then you use that to do your sentence writing, your narrative. So I teach these important skills while we're writing a story about something that happened in our classroom. Now that you have the first few lessons, in my next video, I'm going to show you lots more ideas to help your students practice those sentence writing skills. I hope that you enjoyed this video and you got some good tips and ideas. Before you go, make sure to leave me a comment on which idea you like the most and which you're going to try with your students. And don't forget to like and subscribe this video, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.